Hi, it's Matt Forrest, Off-Grid Entrepreneur. So we have a special guest today, Kev Hamilton, who's flown in for a long weekend into the Alps. Kev's part of the Off-Grid Entrepreneur mentorees. So I thought it'd be quite nice, because I'm probably not going to get to meet all of you in person through Skype, yes, and things like that. So I thought, because I'm actually here with him in person, going to ask him a few questions. It's completely unrehearsed, so he's probably nervous as hell, but that's life. So say hi, Kev.
Hello, everyone.
So the first question is, you know a little bit about what Off-Grid Entrepreneur is. What do you kind of hope to gain from that as like a course?
I'm hoping to get some guidance from the information provided. Hopefully more than anything to guide me through the tricky situations that you come across.
So I'll say that you've given me a bit of a potted history of some businesses that you've had, and you've obviously encountered a lot of problems and what I kind of call God's dice, where things have happened which maybe shouldn't have happened. You've worked really hard, lots of hours, but there's been, for want of a better word, failures. So we talked yesterday about how you can now mitigate the risk of a business, but are there any specific lessons that you think you've learnt along the way which hopefully going forward you won't make the same mistakes, if you can call them mistakes?
Well, yeah. Always cover your backside. When you're putting agreements in place with people, your contracts, and be prepared for anyone who you may feel that you trust, no matter what industry that you're in. One of the biggest life lessons I've learned is that the knife will be stabbed in your back over money at any given point. So whether you prepare yourself with your contracts and your paperwork and make sure everything's bang on like that, I think most importantly you've got to be prepared to put that fight and that battle in, and be prepared mentally to be able to overcome any issues that you may have.
So what you're saying basically is that you've done contracts, you've done the work hours, and even fairly big contractors have let you down by not giving you what was agreed.
Yes.
So in future you will get in writing in advance what you plan to do for them and what the remuneration is.
Yes.
And if they do rescind on their agreement, you're going to try and gain the energy to and expertise to go things like through MCOL or whatever as a method of pursuing them to basically chase up what you're owed.
That's it, yeah. And I think most importantly, above anything, is from what I have learned over the past 10 years of playing around in business, is that business can affect all aspects of your life. So what can truly ultimately happen is, you treasure this business, you build it, you put all the work in, you put all the effort in, but then you can neglect the most important things in your life. Marriage, your family, everything else.
I guess that's probably what hopefully differentiates Off-Grid Entrepreneur from, say, a Tony Robbins type course, which is very heavily towards success. I mean, he does obviously try and gain a work-life balance, but a lot of people who go for the Tony Robbins approach are looking for success in business, and that's why they're doing it. And as you say, I guess really the meaning of life, but from my perspective, sits above Off-Grid Entrepreneur, and therefore the Off-Grid Entrepreneur isn't just about becoming a millionaire. It's not just about getting Ferraris. It's not just about getting big houses and toys, or in fact just business success and expansion. It's about work-life balance. There's elements of that, of course. I think I mentioned briefly about 4-Hour Week by Tim Ferriss, where he's managed to condense his life almost ridiculously so, such that even all his voice messages, his emails, even off friends, are all taken care of and automated and whatever. It's almost a little bit too robotic from my viewpoint anyway. But the point being is that hopefully Off-Grid Entrepreneur isn't just about how to have a good business strategy, what branding is, what IP is and whatever. I mean, we talked a little bit about, in fact, you've had some failures, but you've got transferable skills that you've gained. Well, just to let everyone know who doesn't know, actually, they won't know, that Kev's background is a qualified electrician and does very high-end installations and security and that kind of thing, and LCD, high-tech stuff. But also he kind of project managed his wife's salon, so I presume that you still see that as a success and that you
100%.
battle through. So,
Yeah.
you want to talk through the barriers that you had to go through to make that come alive?
So with respect to that, my wife, she's very, very good at what she does in terms of being a hairdresser. She worked mobile for years. She built up a clientele. Get a bit uncomfy here. She built up a client base, and she got to the point where she couldn't take on any more clients because she was working mobile, going around to their houses, etc., etc. And the idea was she wanted to get a salon. So we started looking into it, and we required some funding. So she went to the council, applied for the funding. We put the business plan together. We did all that. It was all, the business plan was checked over. It was approved as yes, it's a good plan. So basically the idea was you must then go and get a premises. So tie yourself into a lease, rental agreement, whatever. Get all that sorted, and then we'll submit your business plan to the people that grant the funding.
Which incidentally is a crazy way to do it. I can understand them getting you to do heads of terms and bring a lease to the table and show you've got premises and branding, but to make you actually commit to it, and then you get to find out whether or not a grant is to be granted, is kind of crazy. But anyway, sorry, Corin.
Yeah, that's all right. So yeah, we've got the premises sorted out. We started on the work, just the general stripping out. The place was a bit of a dump. We put a bit of a plan together, how we're going to structure it, where we're going to build the rooms, how we're going to lay it all out. Started the basic things like the electrical wiring, the things we could afford really. In the hope that this funding is all going to go through, everything's going to be fine. And then about 4 weeks into the project, we've already put what we had into it. We'd worked hard to a degree. And then a letter came through with the funding had been declined, which was a difficult time. Simply because my wife couldn't see the end vision of how we'd achieve it, how it'd be possible. And
how did you muster the money together for your first rental payments and things like that then?
I have no idea.
Right.
We just
beg, borrow and steal,
basically robbing Peter to pay Paul. And just did what was necessary. It got to a point where my wife wanted to get the keys back. It just wasn't viable. But one way or another, we just pushed through. I knew she would be a success because I knew she was very good at what she does. So
it's a happy ending story. But how long ago was it that the rejection letter came, and how strong is the business and what's it up to now?
So it'll be 2 years running in November. There's now I think there's 3 other stylists in there. There's a nail girl, there's makeup, it does all the aesthetics. She's built up a brand, Danielle Graham Hair, Nails and Beauty. She's doing extremely well. And lo and behold, 2 years on, it's been an absolute success. We just made it happen, and she's worked backside off these past 2 years, bless her, and she's made a success of that, so that's good. So,
from your own perspective, you obviously have a trade and skill that allows you to earn quite good money in the medium term, or whatever, short to medium term. You've obviously got an entrepreneurial spirit in you, so you have a vision of being in business down the line. Do you already have, and you've got transferable skills of project management, whatever, do you already have an idea of what kind of business you think that's going to be down the line? Or
with my successes and failures with my businesses, I took 2 years out, went into full-time employment. Long story short, that didn't end up working out, so I decided to give business a go again, on the sort of on the idea that just keep it small, keep it steady, rather than building things up on accounts, and then if somebody doesn't pay me, that then creates a problem. Just making sure that I'm paying my suppliers in advance for any equipment for projects, but I know that my paperwork is all in place to cover my backside if a customer decides not to pay me, so I can then take them to court, and I've got all the evidence in place. But
I'm talking more about your vision of a business type.
Right.
Is it going to be hotels? Is it going to be opticians? Is it going to be banking? Or
it's
You just know it's going to be business, but you don't know what? Or?
Well, no, because I mean, I've set up my security installation company, and I'm going to build on that. I currently don't have any vision to go down the route of anything else like banking or anything. You know, I think.
Well, you do have quite an in-depth knowledge about Bitcoin and whatever.
Well, I do.
And
yeah.
blockchain and where that's going and whatever. So
Yeah. So
never say never.
Yeah, never say never. I'm always open to ideas, and you know, I come up with little ideas, and I might go off here and there and go, oh, well, I fancy doing this, or maybe that. But I think when it comes down to the crunch, what you've got to do is you've got to do what makes you living sometimes. But if you can sort of avoid getting into the trap of being in the day-to-day life, working in the business rather than on the business, and if you can focus on working on it and building on that, you know, the potential is anything. You know, you can go anywhere. But as I'm sure you can imagine, through my past failures, I try not to get my hopes up too much. But if I keep working at it and learn from my previous mistakes, it might be different this time around.
And also, I guess you may not have thought of this, but possibly consultancy down the line, where you've got mentoring skills which you've done already for training up staff for what you do. You've got project management skills, business experience. So it's quite a low risk business model, because if people see that you can offer that support and go in there, and because hopefully when you've been trained more with the off-grid entrepreneur, that will marry together with what you've already got. So in theory you'll be able to go to any SME and probably guide them. And if it might be, if you're doing that under an ITSA brand, ITSA Global, then the business comes in automatically, you get referred to help these people, so it's completely no risk. It's turn up there, get very good money, do that and whatever. So and also don't forget, ITSA Global is a resource. So if you have business concepts, you have access to videographers, you have access to branding, you have access to music production and videos, you have access to advertising skills, you have access to intellectual property. I know this is now becoming a bit of a sales pitch for
It is a sales pitch, yeah. I feel like you're trying to employ me here.
Yeah, maybe. Never say never. Anyway, probably cut it now, we've got the rest of the mountain to climb, so catch you soon. Ciao, bye.